the sub, man. That's a good question. I should probably think about making some badges, huh? By the way, how's the music level compared to the mic? Cool. Cool, cool. Fair enough. How does that work? Are there like limits on as to how many things can be by someone's name? Like limits on Twitch flair? Oh, interesting. That's cool. So many little intricacies on Twitch. And I just ain't got time for all of them. Dazzle Pants, what's up? Thanks for the follow. We are painting a portrait of everyone's favorite tortured pirate captain, Captain Flint from Black Sails. I wish I could show you all the reference, but I cannot, because I do not own the rights to the photo. And it is not a photo you can get online, so oh well. You'll just have to trust me. Didn't quite have the extra energy today to like paint stuff out of my head. So I figured, hey, you can always use a little more portrait practice, right? Why not? Yes, the benefits of our job. Get access to some dope photography. Super high res in many cases. I am working in a limited palette today, by the way. Not going full color on this. Kind of just wanting to see how far I can push. Oh man, that's what I'm missing, and like something doesn't feel right. Where is my maul stick? Oh, there it is. It was hiding. There we go. The last couple things I've done were very small pieces. So I wasn't using the maul stick because they were small enough that I could just, rest my hand on the easel and do it. But this one's just a little larger. I don't want to rest my hand on the panel itself. Hello, Nick Spix. Because I like my apron? And I don't have those kinds of old clothes. Honestly, I'm not a messy painter. Like, I don't get paint everywhere. I really wear this just in case. And a painting smock is a time-honored tradition. I figure it's good enough for Sergeant, it's good enough for me. Who wants to get into different clothes every time they want to paint? Not this guy. Oh hi, Pink Eye Poxy. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, we're being raided by Shane. Mr. McInnes. My friend, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. A bunch of people to go and follow right there. Everyone say hi to our dear Raider Shane. you should give him a follow, as well as Pink Eye Poxy, because she's a badass painter. And an awesome streamer. Thanks for the follows, Daria Axanova Art and Machina Lab Coat. Ah, got it. Thank you. Thanks, Blaz87. We're just getting started. Just before you raided, Nick Spix was getting upset that I was wearing an apron instead of old clothes. But that's okay. Nice. Yeah, Shane, how did the stream go, man? Tell me. Was it epic? Right on. Blaz87, I often do, sometimes, depending on my mood, I might actually do a pencil drawing first, like rough, just enough to kind of get my landmarks in place, you know? And then I'll just spray fix it and then kind of lay in. But yeah, I always start with a warm ground. I don't know why, it just works for me. I'm using transparent brown iron oxide for this, with a bit of olive green in it to kind of take the heat out. Right, I didn't want to battle with the saturation too much. But yeah, I love starting with a warm ground. Even if I'm gonna end up with a fairly cool painting, I like the look of the warm ground poking through in spots. Ah, Autumn, thanks for that gifted sub to Pink Eye Poxy, because we love Pink Eye Poxy. Yeah, the only time I might have missed, did I miss a question? Oh. I was wondering what the baking thing was. Yeah, I have baked paintings before, but that was only like when I was getting something done on a very, very tight schedule. And obviously I prefer not to do that. Yeah, I'm not. I'd have to be painting a little crazy to be splashing paint around. I don't. No one does the Bob Ross thing of like whacking their brush on the easel to get the turpentine off. So, at least no one I know does that. I mean, not to say that there haven't been times where you accidentally like whack your brush on something and it goes flying, but you know what? Oh well. Oh, Nick's Picks. Is that really the way you want to talk to the mod? When he is answering your questions. Someone might need a timeout. Feel free, Autumn. To anyone that doesn't know, Autumn is one of my best friends. He knows my process. He can often answer questions if I happen to miss them. If you give him attitude, he has the power. Yes, he does have the power of Grayskull. Hoodoo. Also, Pink Eye Epoxy, if you're still lurking around, how did you work on that painting anymore after the stream? Because it was looking dope. Debating how dark I want to go just yet. I was just asking if you worked on that painting at all after the stream, or if you're leaving it to purely do on stream, because it was looking awesome. I'm just curious if you did more on it or not. That's fair. That's fair. You can sing. Nice. Well, I will let you keep painting. I know how that goes, because there are times that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna only work on this on stream, but then I'm like, you know what? I feel like working on it some more, so I'm just going to do that. Class 87, you should do like just do a limited palette. You know, if you do the right limited palette, it's actually much harder to turn it into mud, right? I'm actually doing it just because I want to see how far I can push the colors, but I'm working with transparent brown oxide, transparent brown iron oxide, transparent red iron oxide, titanium white, and olive green. I have some Indian yellow on there, but I don't think I'll use it. So, literally using, you could say 3 colors and a white, but the same pigment goes into the transparent brown and the transparent red, so it's kind of just a more saturated version of the same color. So I would argue that it's maybe 2 colors and a white. And you'll see I'll be able to get a pretty broad range of temperatures, right? And that's all I'm playing with. I'm not sitting here, I'm trying to like match colors. That's not my intention with this. I just kind of, I don't know. I've been having fun seeing how far I can push some of the colors, you know. It's just a fun challenge, kind of do something a little different. Hey, thanks, Sarah. Are you taking off? Sorry, I'm like not even looking at chat right now. I apologize. I got caught up thinking 3 steps ahead on this painting. I hope you have a great night, Sarah. Thank you for popping in. Yo, Viscera, welcome. How's it going? You have a great night, Sarah. Thank you for joining. Autumn, thanks again. my friend. I'm gonna have to finesse some of these shapes here. They're close, but a little off. Blast 87. Hey Shane, thanks for the raid, brother. I appreciate it. Glad you could pop in for a minute. I'm doing very well, Viscera. Oil painting always makes me happy. Blast 87. That's a good question. It does take practice, and honestly, because I used to do a bit of the grid method, but somewhere along the line, I just kind of stopped doing it. I think it was because, we would be in class doing head drawing or head painting, and we didn't really get to do the grid method. And so it's just kind of one of those things you have to just force yourself to, if you want to stop doing it, then you have to do that. You have to kind of force yourself to stop. But understand, there's nothing wrong with the grid method. There are all kinds of ways. I think it all depends on your intentions for what you're doing, right? Now, I want this to get close enough to the likeness that people will be able to tell who it is. But I don't care if it's like perfectly one for one. You know what I mean? I think it's a little different if you plot out an image and like on a smaller level, and then you want it to be exactly that on a larger scale, right? I mean, Muka did that with the Slav epic, because like, how else are you going to transfer paintings that size after you like take the time to really plan them out, I know he used the grid method for that. I think there are actually some photos of it in progress. I believe he wrangled his son in to help him transfer. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think it really is just kind of a practice thing, to be honest. So you just kind of got to do it more, It does take time, I think, to train your eye, to see those proportions and get them right. And it's tough because when you're starting with a blank page, right, you're just kind of like, where the hell do I put the first mark? And so sometimes you have to also give yourself some latitude to be able to push and pull, like it's okay if we don't get it right the first time. Even with this, I know there are areas where I'm going to cut back in when I bring in some of the lights, you know. So knowing that, I know that I'm over painting in areas. So I'm kind of allowing myself a bit of latitude with that kind of push and pull. And then here I'm not one of those, I don't, for some reason, I don't actually like it when the canvas I'm starting on is already the same value as the lights are gonna be. I don't know why. Even if it's not white, I'm not a fan. Yeah. But animals are a little tricky also because, you know, they're different than people proportions, right? The anatomy is not technically that different, but the proportions are different. And so when it's people and we're used to seeing people every day, or, you know, we used to be, I think it's a little easier to kind of get those proportions a little more accurately. Hey, thanks, XMart. And yeah, Daria, Peter has some some very good animal anatomy stuff. But it's interesting because, like, it's good. I think one of the things we don't always do with animals is figure out, like, okay, how do we break down those proportions? And there are proportions to them, right? And of course, each one is going to vary a little bit, meaning, like, you can't say every single wolf is this proportion, but wolves do have proportions, right? Just like people do. And I think the more we can start to recognize those proportions in animals, the easier it becomes to kind of start painting or drawing them without having to necessarily grid everything out. Right. Yeah, I think, you know, depending on what you're doing, especially if you're going for any kind of, like, hyper realism or anything, like, you need reference. You have to. I don't tend to do any kind of hyper realism. I mean, working as a sketch artist, it's kind of in the job description, I guess. I've always preferred kind of erring on the looser side of things. But that's just my preference, you know. I know because I don't enjoy rendering. I love seeing other people's renderings, but I don't like doing it myself. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with using photo. I mean, I'm using photo reference right now. Because, you know, I don't think I could paint Captain Flint out of my head. I might be able to get pretty close close enough, maybe, but it would look simplified. Meaning close enough that people might be able to tell who it was if I was painting him out of my head. But yeah. What Archer Kell said. Because it really is. It's just kind of... I mean, fuck, working from your head is not easy, right? Like, by any stretch. Especially if you're not used to doing it. And that's a tough one to even... I've thought a lot about that. About, like, because I know I can do it, you know? And I know that I'm pretty good at working from my head, and so I've thought often about, like, is that something that you could teach? And I know that some people try, and I don't know how effective the classes are or not. And short of just saying, well, you just gotta do it, you know, I do wonder, like, are there methodologies that we could come up with to be able to do that more effectively? You know, beyond just mileage, because that's the easy, or I should say the short answer. Right? It's always just, it's all about mileage. And in a way, like, you know, again, big brain art gems right there. Art is all about the mileage, right? And it, in a sense, it takes some of the mystery out of it when you recognize that. It's just like, the more you just got to do it more, but at the same time, like, of course there are intricacies within that, you know, ways and methodologies to kind of practice some of that stuff. I think I kind of always did it, you know, ever since I was a kid, and I just never really stopped drawing out of my head. So it's hard for me to kind of pinpoint, like, oh, this is what I did to be able to just draw effectively and fairly accurately out of my head, because I don't entirely know. I just did it. All right, let's get some actual accented darks in here, and then maybe yeah. By the way, I am painting on a linen panel from Raymar Art. It's the Classen C13 portrait linen. I think they are oil primed. Let's see. Let's see. archival. Yes, double oil primed. So these guys, Classen C13, portrait linen. Mounted on MDF, so nice and solid, which is red. And honestly, I thought I was gonna really prefer the custom 600 linen from New Traditions because it's a finer weave, but this is actually a little nicer than I thought it was gonna be. Which is good because I got a bunch of them. You know, it's not like I thought they were gonna suck, and I like to kind of practice on different surfaces and see what my options are. But I'm very glad that so far I'm enjoying painting on this a lot because they ship a whole lot faster than New Traditions. New Traditions, I'm pretty sure they make them to order. So unless they happen to have some already sitting around at the size that you want, I'm pretty sure they make them to order, so they take a bit longer to usually take a few weeks to ship out. But I do love that 600 linen of theirs. It is such a tight weave that, I mean, it's fantastic for doing little tiny detail work. For a portrait this size, this is great. Yeah, I like the oil primed a lot. It's a really nice surface to work on. I do prefer it to like the lead primed or alkyd primed surfaces. Alright, get some. Actually got to go a little darker on some of these shadows. By the way, Pink Epoxy turned me on to this Alexander's titanium white, and I was so curious because she was raving about it, and I had to try it, and I have to say, shit's rad. It's like, it's a thinner body than I expected, but it's still very opaque like you expect from a titanium white. And with how thin the body was, I was not expecting it to be as opaque as it is. I thought maybe it would be closer to like Gamlen's titanium zinc. Oh, the Incredible Hunk is raiding with a party of 8. Hello. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, welcome. Incredible Hunk, I recognize you from Pink Epoxy's stream. Welcome. And how was your stream? And what were you working on? Hello, wish I was Heather. Welcome. Nah. Oh, right on. Do you have anything you want to show? We are very link friendly here. If you have anything from the stream, or if not, you can always link your socials if you want. We would love that. Oh, Autumn coming in with the subs. What? What? Sleech, Joey the Saint, the Kyle Wright, Arthurigus, Syntax Rigger. Let's thank Mr. Arthur Kell for those awesome subs. Coming in hot. There are like little things in this that are a little bit off. Tiff Tiff, wish I was Heather. Thank you both for the follows. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Anyone that is just joining us, or anyone that doesn't know, I work in entertainment advertising as my day job. As a sketch artist and illustrator. On my free time, I do whatever comes to mind. Tonight we are working with a limited palette of transparent brown iron oxide, transparent red iron oxide, titanium white, and olive green, just to see what kind of color range we can get out of it. Of course, we haven't gotten there yet, but because I'm nitpicking stuff before I move on. Ooh, let's see. Oh, nice. Right on. Right on. Incredible Hunk, are you using just black and white, or are you kind of mixing your own grays? What's your palette on that one? Okay, cool. And are these oils as well? Very cool. Ah, acrylic. Right on. I'm debating if I want to lighten this up just a little. Hang on. I'm going to adjust this. I think that's maybe a little more accurate to what I'm seeing. Man, I have not painted in acrylic in a long time. I have a feeling if I tried to get back to them, I would get very frustrated because, you know, they're neither watercolor nor oils, and I'm so used to both of those that I feel like I'd probably be trying to use it like one or the other and then just be like, oh, it doesn't do what I want. Throw my palette everywhere. All right, Nick Spix. Sleep well. I mean, it's been a long time. I remember trying some like extenders for acrylics years ago, but what's funny is I don't even remember if I liked them or not. Alright, let's get into some midtones and stuff. So this is really where we will notice a bit more, right? I'm gonna use this olive green to kind of kick the heat down in this because I want to be able to pick where the true saturation goes. So I don't want to work with like highly saturated stuff just yet. Yeah, working with that wet palette always helped a lot with acrylics. Actually, hang on, let's... Hey, welcome Sam Gushu. How are you doing, my friend? Thanks, Incredible Hunk. It's a fun one. It's this awesome picture of Captain Flint from Black Sails. Yeah, I just felt like it would make a dope painting, so that's what we're doing. You should, Blast 87. I encourage this. And Sam Gushu, how you doing? Another fellow streamer. Everyone go follow Sam. She does awesome stuff. She has a very, very lovely stream to hang out on. And I'm not just saying that. She's a badass. Absolutely lovely sense of color. Yeah, Sam, I love your stuff. It's fucking rad. I am adding in just a little bit of white for a little more opacity in some of these shadows. I love transparent shadows, but I'm also, I rarely stick with purely transparent shadows. I don't know why. I just don't. I do what I want. Oh yeah, I'm glad you could join. I'm glad you're seeing the start too. I love this part of the process. I think one of the reasons I've stayed a sketch artist is because I prefer this part of the process to the later rendering parts. Blast 87, that is a good question. And honestly, it all just depends on the piece, right? I mean, you can go... You can push the colors any way you want to go, right? Like, because I think sometimes it's fun to kind of pick out, if you're looking at a photo and to kind of say, hey, this part goes a little more like cool red. So, hey, I'm just going to pump that up. I'm just going to amp it up and just go crazy with some cool red, because you can use any colors that you want, right? As long as the values are there, at least if you're going for some kind of accuracy, like some kind of representational accuracy. Then the colors don't actually matter at all. Right. I think it also depends on how much light I want to be in the shadows, right? There are times that I want the shadows to just create a nice graphic shape, in which case I'm not going to go too crazy with the colors. But then other times, I want to get some air and some light in the shadows, get a little bit of rendering in them. And that mostly depends on the lighting key that I'm trying to go with. Like how high contrast do I really want it to feel, right? Because it can feel high contrast without actually going super light or super dark, with stuff, right? Like, we can just kind of decide, like, oh, hey, these shadows are going to become a more solid shape. And even if the value is a little lighter, just simplifying those shadows will make it feel higher contrast, right? And don't worry about the questions. We love questions. We have many, many good artists in this chat right now. So, everyone, please feel free to chime in a little bit. Because it's always nice to kind of know what different people's approaches are, you know? Oh, you know what's funny? I have this thing on, and I totally had the the chat turned off. Well, what's the point of the dark gradient if I don't have the chat on? Meaning on the stream. Yeah, Gurney's a badass with color. Nathan Fowkes is a badass with color. You can also learn a lot just by studying, you know, old paintings that you really like. And it's fun to kind of maybe try and figure out sometimes what they might have been using. It can be hard because who knows, like, they weren't always aware of whether a color was archival or not, like, or maybe it was a very fugitive color. So, you know, alizarin crimson being a prime example of that. Very, very, very fugitive color. So I have this. The reference has a dark background, and I'm considering going that route just because of the lights that I could pull out from there. So I think we might actually do that. So let's switch to a larger brush here. Get that. I think it'll be a good one. Just debating how dark I want to go. This is pretty dark. It's like it's a gray seamless background, and it's like 90%. I don't know if I'll go that dark, but we might go pretty close. Let's make this a little easier on ourselves. And just mix up Essentially something we can use for like a black, right? If we want it. Oh, yo, Martest, what's up? Sorry, I didn't see you, come in. Welcome, welcome. IRB Maz, thank you for the follow. What's Ariana? Coming in hot. What's up, dude? Thank you. Everyone, thanks Ariana for those lovely subs. Oh, we're seeing some lurkers. I see a modern day James hanging out and a burger face hanging out. What? No, it's okay. You guys can lurk. Right? Lurking is the backbone of Twitch. I'll just say hello, my friends. Thank you, Zariana. And cheers. We're sticking with a true pirate theme today, and we are drinking some rum agricole from the French West Indies. A delicious Caribbean rum. Paradox. Paradox. Good enough there. Get some interesting brushwork happening in some of these spots. heavier darks. Incredible Hunk, thank you. Oh, hell yeah. Sariana, you're gonna love them. It's awesome. Awesome. Who dat? Dove GB, thank you for the follow. Yes, super win-win. They're delicious. You know what? Let's just mix this up here. I want to get more paint on the surface, so at this point I don't care terribly if the values and stuff are super accurate, because I just kind of want to cake on some paint. I don't want to go crazy and have the values be wrong, but I don't mind if they're not 100% just yet. Right, I mean, that's the big difference. If this was watercolor, of course, I would preserve the lights. Usually, though sometimes I'm totally down with just bringing in some gouache. Bring some of my lights back. And this is another part of the process that I always really enjoy, is doing a bit of pushing and pulling of forms, you know? It's, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. Lots of fun. We enjoyed this. Not always a good idea to sit with your legs crossed. So this is kind of fun where we can kind of play with what might feel a little more colorful of a palette than what it truly is, right? Because what we can at least do is play with temperature, right? Which is why I have that olive green in here. So not doing a true monochrome painting, though I'm mostly using that olive green simply as a way to control the saturation, right? So we could argue that it is still a monochromatic painting. I'm not throwing in straight up olive green, right? I'm only using it to kick that red around and, you know, have my way with it. Manhandle that red. Yes, pink epoxy, it is the Alexander White. I was telling people earlier that I was very, very pleasantly surprised with it. Just because, like, you know, it's a little thinner body than my other titanium whites, but it's still great. She dorketh. That's an awesome name. Welcome, thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. We're doing some oil painting tonight. Nothing terribly new these days, thankfully. She dorketh. How was your stream and what did you do? Please post. Show us stuff. We would love to see. And if you don't have anything from your stream to post, you can totally just give us some social links. We like those too. I don't know, Paradox. That was a pretty good one. I'm giving you that one, Sam. That I'm down with it. I can dig it. Thank you, thank you. She dorketh, did you have a good stream? I hope you did. And if you have anything you would like to show, we would love to see it. Right on, right on. We love digital art here too. I haven't been doing it lately, at least not on stream, but you know, sometimes we get into it. Get into some Procreate and Photoshop shenanigans. So please share. A lucid lunatic. Thank you for the follow. We get into procreate, not procreation, Paradox. I know, I always wonder if that hashtag affects anything, right? If you just hashtag procreate and you're like, what are you really trying to say? Oh, you don't have a Discord or something? You can share if you have any socials. You can always share that too. Instagram or ArtStation or, you know, whatever. Doesn't have to strictly be what you worked on tonight. Hey, thanks, Lucid Lunatic. Appreciate that. And DovGB. Cool, yes. She dorketh. Please, please. Please do. I'm gonna get a little more... Gotta get some more darks in some of these spots. And then we can always bring some lights back. Right? Again, one of the parts of the process that I always have a lot of fun with is kind of pushing and pulling this stuff, you know? Whether it's the forms or the values. It's all good fun. Good fun. Joby, what's up, dude? Welcome, my friend. Folks, if you don't follow Joby Door, you're missing out. He has a fantastic art stream as well as a fantastic art-centric podcast. I should say the business of art-centric podcast, right? I can't tell if it's raining outside or not. As us kids. Am I a kid though? Am I really? With this much white in my beard, am I still considered a kid? Oh, it is raining? Okay. Because I have my fan going, and then the fan on the Cintiq is going, so I couldn't quite tell. Plus, I have my air purifier going. So I just couldn't tell, like, am I hearing rain or not? Alright, I want to get some light back here. Where is everyone? No, Blast 87, I do not use Liquid. That stuff I feel is just toxic as hell. Like the fumes are just gnarly. I am using a walnut oil gel. That's what this is over here. So if you see me dip into that, I'm just using it to essentially extend the paint. So yeah, I don't use Liquid. You know, Liquid I used to use from the standpoint of kind of wanting things to dry a little faster, but I don't really want things to dry faster these days. So I kind of stopped using a lot of those kind of drying agents and stuff, mostly because they're just, most of them are so toxic. You can do like some of the what is it, the like thickened linseed oil and stuff to speed up some drying some alkyds if you want, but I personally would caution against Liquid. Galkid, you can get some you can get Galkid that speeds up your drawing that's much less toxic than Liquid is. I'm not a fan of the toxic shit, especially painting in your apartment, you know. Yeah, Joby, that would be pretty rad, like vitamin D rain. I'd be okay with that. I mean, granted, I love the sun as well, and you know, I'm half Indian, so my skin does very well in the sun. Well, sort of. Sort of. I should say once my skin darkens, it does well in the sun. But before it darkens, I can burn like crazy. Because my dad was very, very white. These lights are pretty hot. Like, they are bright, like just the slightest bit blown out in the highlights. So we probably won't go that far with it, but you know, it gives us a lot of room to play. And I know I've mentioned it on stream before, I do have a tendency to work in the lights, right? To where I just start getting lighter and lighter. Where in a monochrome painting it doesn't matter as much, but if you're working in full color, you can only go so light while still keeping any kind of true clean color. And so I've really been making an effort not to go too crazy in the lights lately. And so now what I tend to do is my go-to will first be, well, if I need this thing to feel lighter, can I get there by making something around it darker, right? So oh yeah. She darketh. Yeah, sorry, dot, not feather. Also, anybody, if I miss a question, please feel free to post it again. Sometimes I get caught up between either going on some art-oriented rant or just focused on my painting. So, you know. I mean, luckily we have Autumn here tonight, and he can answer many of the questions pretty much exactly the way that I would, but still, feel free. Don't be afraid to repost questions. But I'll do my best to try and keep an eye on it. Yeah. Yep. That'll do it, right? Go away, you weird little gnat. Trust me, you don't want any of this. They always think they do, and sometimes I'll come out in the morning and there's some like dead gnat on my painting. I'm like, well, Sorry, bro. I would have thought the fumes would have told you don't land there. But no. They're like hotboxing or something. Yeah, although today, like I said, we're sticking with the pirate theme and drinking some rum agricole. You think Cryo is doing a... She does her drink and draw streams Thursdays, right? Thursday nights. Joby, have you tried the rum agricole? Which is the French style of rum. It is distilled from sugarcane rather than molasses. Most rum, you know, that you get, Captain Morgan's, all that stuff, is distilled from molasses. And it's way rougher on you. Rum agricole is distilled directly from the sugarcane, so it's not as sugary sweet. It's still sweet, but it retains the kind of earthy, grassy flavor of the sugarcane. And it is delicious. Doesn't give you a hangover and stuff like the other rum does. Honestly, once I had the agricole, I'm like, how do people drink the regular stuff? I mean, I've never liked rum, so I was a little hesitant, but I was like, whatever, I'm in the Caribbean, and like, you know, girlfriend and I were on Guadeloupe in the French Caribbean, and the drink there is the tea punch, so we're like, fuck it, let's get it, right? Because we happen in this little tiny spot right on the beach because nothing else was open. And we got the plat du jour, which was Colombo chicken and tea punch. So we're like, cool. And then we had the tea punch and we're like, what the fuck, this is delicious. And since then, tea punch is one of my absolute favorite cocktails. And it is the simplest. It's basically just a Caribbean old-fashioned, right? Cane sugar, bunch of wedges of lime squeezed in, couple ounces of white rum agricole, and ice, and you're good to go. Makes me happy. Ooh, what? What is one? Oh. That's a true pirate. Agricole. Yeah. Yeah, the rum agricole is smooth. I mean, you can see here, this is the aged stuff. It's not as dark as a lot of the spiced rums, the molasses stuff. But I mean, both the white rum and the aged, and of course the Nat was like, "Hey, I'm gonna commit suicide in this delicious rum, you little fucker." Whatever, whatever. Alcohol content, I don't care. I should have just swallowed the damn Nat. Alright, let's get some lights in here. Yeah, so anyone that missed it earlier, Pink Epoxy turned me on to this Alexander's White. Alexander's titanium white, and it's absolutely delightful to work with. I think I'd started saying something and then I got sidetracked. I think we got raided or something. But silkier. Because I don't want to say thinner. It's plenty like thick. It's a heavy enough body. It doesn't like slide around or anything, but it's very silky. Very much like the walnut oil gel that I use. And so I really thought it was going to be more transparent than it was, and it totally is not. And so it's lovely to work with. Mixing it with other colors, especially if, you know, like both these transparent iron oxides are really heavy, like lots of pigment, not a lot of like binder in them. So mixing them with the white just creates a really great texture. So I would highly recommend it. Very fun to work with. Uh-oh. What do we have here? Both the white rum and the aged. And of course the Nat was like, "Hey, I'm gonna commit suicide in this delicious rum." Fucker. Whatever. Alcohol content, I don't care. Both the white rum. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for that, Autumn. I appreciate it. Sometimes it's nice to not fully mix up your paint and just allow for a little bit of variety in your mark, you know, and that is kind of just a matter of if you want to, and it's just a nice way to add some variation on the piece so that it doesn't all just look boring, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're always trying to do with painting, is kind of have enough variety over the whole surface that the viewer wants to look everywhere, right? If we treat it all the same way, then they can just look in one spot and then they've basically seen the whole painting. We don't want that. Variety. the tricky part with this is the lightest spots are here and then on his left side, right? So camera right. Which are also the spots that are furthest away from us. And generally when you're painting, because when you're painting in the lights, it requires more opaque paint. So you get heavier paint there, right? And on a microscopic, not quite microscopic, because you don't need a microscope to see it, but on a very small macro level, oil paintings are three-dimensional, right? So typically, it's a good idea to have the spots that are closest to us be heavier paint. But that gets a little tricky when the lightest spots are the spots furthest away. So sometimes that can kind of, I don't know, play Mary Hobb on your painting and kind of fuck with things a little bit, right? Now you can then mix up some of these values for the things that are closer to us, and go heavier on the paint if you want. But I don't know. I think maybe if I don't get too heavy on it, we can get away with that. If we don't go too heavy and we just get a little clever with our placements, maybe. Now I was kind of sitting to see how much I want to paint into here, right? And I think I do want to paint a little more into the shadows than what I have. And so this is another thing we can do to kind of bring some of this stuff forward, is we could sort of pump up the saturation a little bit, and then go more desat as things go further away if we want. Like I said, if we just get a little clever with this, maybe we can make it work. So at this point, I'm pretty much not using... I have a Gamsol spike oil mix, just because I like the spike oil, but oh my god, the scent is so strong. I just couldn't handle it. Yeah, please link your Instagram. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Right on. Is one of these, is that latest one what you worked on stream? Such clean lines. What? Right on. Right on. Cool. Very cool. Were you starting with like a rough sketch? Right? I think that's kind of what I'm seeing on the post before it, the sheet work. Right on, dude. Some light here that is annoying me. Yeah, she dorketh. I agree. Getting like super clean lines on the tablet is not my favorite thing in the world. I usually get a bit impatient. I'm like, dude, this would be so much easier on paper. The tricky part with this guy is that at a certain point, because he's a ginger, and so at a certain point his facial hair becomes like the exact same color as his skin, and so it's almost like you gotta hint at it just with texture in areas. But I don't like getting too clever with hair. But I'm not quite sure how else to achieve it with him. I was wondering what was bothering me, and there's too much of a tilt on his eyes. Oh, that's awesome, Dorcas. That's a very, very good thing. Sometimes all it takes is finding our, I don't know, our people, right? Our community that kind of works to help motivate us. I mean, I remember when I'd moved from Washington back home to Northern California, it was tough because none of my friends there were artists, and I'd left like this place where I was hanging out with fellow artists and animators all day, every day, to then moving back home where I had absolutely no artist friends, and oh, that was rough. And that was there was no such thing as live streaming back then. It would have been amazing if there was, but there was not. Hello, Vern! Welcome! That's okay. That's okay. We love all our lurkers here. All our lurkers. Wait. Did Burgerface chime in? Did I miss it? No, Burgerface is still lurking. That's okay. We love you too, Burgerface. You can lurk. That's cool, dude. That's a good thing. I love it when people are working on stuff. You know, we're all just hanging out together, working and lurking. It's tough because you put a mark down, but then depending on the direction, it'll catch the light in a certain way, and so you can't always tell, like, okay, did that get enough paint on there, or do I have to finesse it? So sometimes you gotta just kind of like move around and catch the... Ideally, I would just have a great painting setup, but my painting setup is not stationary, right? Because I gotta be able to move things around for working and all that shit, so whatever, gotta deal with it. Gots to deal. Oh, cool. Right on. You know, I've never really done a pet portrait. Like, not a true pet portrait. My friends do that. Right? The royal pet portraits. Lord Truffles. And the royal pet portraits. And they're awesome. But they're doing like those are actual oil paintings that my friend Sonia does. I think they were even featured. They were in Oprah's magazine or something like that as like ideal holiday gifts. Now we gotta start finessing some of these darks here a little bit. Sam, it's probably just as I knocked in a few key values, because I'm not gonna lie, it's been, I don't want to say it's been a little bit of a struggle, but it's keeping me on my toes. I will say that. As I shift one thing, then I see other things that need to shift as well. I see. That's fair. That's fair. Well, and also, like, if you need to get stuff done quick, you know, and depending on what it's for, it's like, I don't know, it's just easier sometimes. Just do it all digital. All right, Vern. Thank you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Good luck on your pet portraits. Thanks, Sam. So am I, to be honest. I want to get a little more paint on some of these spots. Well, thank you, Sariana. I feel like with painting, if you kind of get everything placed well, then it becomes mostly a matter of just crisping up some details to kind of make the apparition appear, you know? Which has been something that I've kind of been practicing a little more, because I used to be so dependent on doing like a drawing first. Like I had to know where things were gonna go, and I've been really trying to hold off on those kinds of details lately, and so I can really pick and choose where I want those like really sharp and specific details. Thank you. I'm glad y'all like it. Need a little bit of light, but not much. Like, we don't want to go too crazy because, I mean, technically it's a photo shoot, so, you know, his eyes are probably catching just like the reflector or some fill light, since they would not be catching the actual light source. So we don't want to go too light. We don't want to go too bright with whatever his eyes are catching. Right. Say this soft kind of sable brush is laying down the paint rather nicely. Usually, like, once you kind of get some paint on it, is a good idea to maybe switch away from the coarser brushes, right? Because at a certain point they might just keep scraping paint off, and then you're just going to kind of battle against it. So let's switch over here. A larger one, and these are the rosemary evergreens, long flat. So these are synthetic. I was never a fan of synthetic brushes, but I have to say some of the synthetics that Rosemary is bringing out, pretty rad, pretty damn rad. Incredible hunk. I love that combo. It's so awesome. We're also gonna see if we do just straight up transparent red iron oxide and some white, will that give us enough heat to get the transillumination that's happening in here? Kinda does. We might have to cheat it and just cheat in some desat around it to sort of reinforce what's happening. That's okay. That's kind of the fun of using a limited palette, is sort of figuring out like some of those little tricks that we can do to make something appear more than what it is. Some crazy highlights happening here, which are kind of fun. Hoping to describe that form a bit. debating how hot I want to go on these lights. Like I said, in the photo they get pretty hot, but he also has kind of light skin, right? Like I said, he's a ginger. So Toby Stevens, right, is the actor, for anyone that doesn't know. Maybe you know him from Lost in Space. Netflix's Lost in Space. But he was best as Captain Flint in Black Sails. But I was very happy to see him in Lost in Space because he's an awesome actor, and I am happy to watch him. Did the stream do something weird just now? I want to make sure it's still like, has the stream lagged at all, or is it good for everyone? Because I don't usually record while I'm streaming, but I was like, you know what? I think my computer can handle it, so I am also recording this as I stream, and I just want to make sure that the computer is doing what it is supposed to. Okay, cool. Cool. Because I am recording this in 4K, so, you know, I didn't know what my computer would do. A little bit of that light that's happening in there. It's just cool. Cool. Yeah, that's the Sariana is the first time I saw. I kind of just caught the flicker out of the corner of my eye. It's the first time I've seen that, I think, tonight. So my computer had done some weird stuff the other day, so I was a little apprehensive. But it was something to do with my external hard drives, so I actually had ejected them before stream so that I didn't risk weirdness happening again. Kind of finessing edges here. I think I might... We're gonna go the other way with this here and start with olive green. And then we're gonna add a little bit of transparent red, iron oxide, and see. I don't want it to be on the green side, but I do want it to feel cool in comparison to what I put it next to, right? So I don't want it to look green, and there, that's a kind of a nice sort of cool brown, which is what I want. And so this is where I'm just kind of want to just play with, like, how far can I push this palette to make it feel maybe a little broader than it really is, right? And that having something in there where we can play with the temperature shift, right? It's me, Jay-Z! Jay-Z, I don't think you were there. Unless you literally mean like a trip you took to Vietnam. So I have one of those Ring doorbells, right? The camera thing on it. And when you get it, you join like the Ring neighborhood app, which you can actually join even without a doorbell. But people get so dramatic sometimes, right? Apparently there was a bit of a shootout somewhere, not here, but I think in the next town over, which isn't far away. And like a car chase and shit, which whatever, it's LA, it happens. But someone had posted on there, they're like, what the hell is going on? Like, there are helicopters everywhere, you know, car chases, and you know, someone's having a shootout with the cops. Like, I feel like I'm in a war zone. And everyone just like, dude, you gotta chill out. It's just LA. But then one person responded with, I was there, man, 1967. And so I just always love it when you get some smart ass person like leaving comments on there. It cracks me up. When these other people are like really serious about it, but it's like, dude, you're in Alhambra. It's not a fucking war zone. Or Highland Park. Like, you have hipster donut shops there. Chill out. One of my favorite ones was someone was like, I went to walk my dog and I got chased by a pack of coyotes and they chased me all around San Marino. Why didn't somebody warn me? It's just like, wow, dramatic much? And one person comments with like, yeah, I was walking home and got chased by a pack of rabid squirrels, but all they wanted was D's nuts. Oh my god. People crack me up. Okay, we need some legit darks in here to kind of... And we don't have to. We could keep the darks lighter if we wanted, but I don't want to. I want some darks to really play with some of these edges. I honestly should have switched to this brush earlier. The other one was a mongoose brush, which is somewhere between a sable and a bristle, but it was just a little too bristly for what I wanted to do, I think. So, especially if you're painting a little thinner, right? That's where the bristle brushes kind of can cause you more trouble than help. Hey, Blast. Good night. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the questions. No, Dazzle Pants. It's not a contraband brush. Rosemary bought a huge stockpile of mongoose hair back in like the 90s before it became protected. So, and for whatever reason, man, I don't know how much she got, but she's still able to make brushes with it. So, but you can also get, sorry, trying to find a good representation of it here. Her Eclipse line, which is a synthetic mongoose, and it works fantastic. Fantastic. So Rosemary & Co. Eclipse is synthetic mongoose, and I wasn't sure what I would think. They're great. They're a little bit softer than the actual mongoose, but they hold their shape better too, which is pretty nice. So I would actually recommend those at this point. Because, yeah, I mean, you know, at a certain point, who knows how long they'll even still do. Because even sable brushes go on and off, right? At least in the US, there are times that, like, no, we can't do any more sables. So then, like, they can't import any brushes, and they can only sell whatever is in stock already in the US, right? And then they'll come back, and then they go away again, and so, you know, I'm not opposed to just getting used to using synthetic brushes. At least for oils, I have yet to find synthetic brushes that I actually really enjoy for watercolor. It just, you can't beat those sable brushes. Luckily, though, with watercolor, the brushes last forever, so not a big deal. You don't have to re-buy brushes. You don't have to buy a ton of them. Sabon Dans Yule, thank you for the follow. JS Lee Art, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Alright, let's get some cool highlights in that hair on the shadow side. Right. So this almost becomes a more full, I don't know. I don't know if there's a technical term, but it is technically still a monochrome painting, but with a third color that basically just allows us to control saturation, right? I mean, I could throw straight up olive green in here if I wanted to, but that's not how I'm trying to use it. I'm keeping it purely as a saturation control. And of course, if you do just black and white, you don't have to worry about that. But as soon as you get into a color, like monochrome with an actual color, I think it's helpful to be able to kind of explore the full range of chroma within that single pigment, right? I think that teaches us a bit more and kind of allows us a more full understanding of how we might use that color. And that's a good thing. Oh, right on. Cool, then I'm doing something right. It's hard, like, I keep wanting to sort of focus on some of those color aspects, but at the same time, like, well, no, I don't have the full range of colors to really explore that, but, you know, we can look, hopefully, at some of the tendencies that the color has as far as where it might saturate and desaturate, and then hopefully capture the essence of that just enough. Okay, let me just get And what's nice is with this, if I wanted to, once it dries, I could start to glaze in more color, right? If I decide, oh, you know what? I want to push this. What's funny is that, I mean, other than his eyes and then his clothing, there really isn't, you know, I could start to push in some yellows, some more cools, you know. But there's not a whole lot to really do with that. Because his hair is a warm color, his skin is a warm color. So yeah, if we wanted to kind of really sort of exaggerate it, we could definitely push some other temperatures and stuff in there, other actual colors, right? But there's so much that we can do with just temperature as well. And I think it's always worth exploring, you know, doing a temperature shift before you do a color or value shift is always a good MO, right? Because temperature will turn form just as effectively as value. Cool. Weird. And so one of the things that I want to also address here, we'll have to figure out the right values. So right now these are looking too much like lines, right? And we don't want that. We want them to read as form. So, who's raiding? Arthurigus. Welcome, my friend, raiding with a party of 9. Welcome. Welcome, raiders. Welcome, Arthurigus, my friend. Howdy, senor. Arthurigus, how was your stream, dude? Thanks for bringing your peeps over. What were you working on? Please, show us. Show us the things. Oh, cool. Very cool. And thank you. I'm having a lot of fun with this. Yeah, Arthurigus, if you have it anywhere that you can show, we would love to see it. Or if you want to just link your socials, you can do that too. Or do both. All at the same time. Multitask. I wasn't sure initially how much I would render this, but I'm having fun with it. I haven't fucked it up yet, so I'm gonna kind of keep going hesitantly, carefully, ever so lightly. Cool, cool. Yeah, no rush, man. Share them when you are able. There's some really fun value stuff that's happening in here that I'm trying to kind of figure out. Yeah, we got the crew here. I don't want to get into every little detail, but some of the details are worthwhile. Nice. We like tea, though I am more of a coffee drinker. I've actually been making some tea again. Like, I hadn't really been doing the tea thing for a while. I used to only drink tea. Like, I didn't drink coffee. I liked the taste of coffee when it was done right, but it was hard to find stuff that wasn't Starbucks, you know? So something that didn't just taste burned for a while. Mind you, I used to work at a coffee shop that roasted their own coffee up in Northern California way back in the day, which is why I was a little picky about my coffee. Hey, Shidorka, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Portola. I have not. I was born in Portola Valley. Way back in the day. Let's see if I can get this. Need a little bit of separation to get his eyes looking where we want. Oh, right on, Sariana. Thank you for joining. Glad you could hang out. Yes, I want to know what you think of those chocolates, because I absolutely love them. You have a good night, my friend. I'm loving the lost edge, that like just the slightest lost edge that's here, even in the reference. So we're gonna keep that because lost edges are our friend. Ooh, let's check it out. Chugga. Damn. I dig it, dude. Nice. Love the shapes. Like, has this great kind of old school animation feel that is fantastic. Hell yeah, man. Dig it. Dig it, dig it. Well done, Arthurigus. Well done. Yeah, super fun stuff. I love the animation stuff, dude. It's just like, it's so much fun to do, and meaning like stylistically. I like animating too, but mostly I like roughing in animation. I don't like finishing animation. Can you say sketch artist? I'm always like, how can I get away with this just being a sketch on like everything? It's got some buttons in here. Oh, it's all good, dude. Gotta have those family chats. I honestly, I haven't done an official shout out for anyone because I've just been painting. I've just been telling people to go follow them. I feel bad. Pink Eye Poxy, Sariana, Sam Gushu, Autumn. Go follow all the people. I'm too wrapped up in my own stuff to do a proper shout out. I'm so selfish. Joby Door, if he's still lurking, follow him. Nightbot doesn't want you to follow Joby Door. We want you to follow Joby Door, though. Seriously, Nightbot, what's your deal? Hey, there we go. I think also, Autumn, you don't actually have to put the @ in that command, just so you know. Although maybe it is easier to complete it that way, I guess. Yeah. You smart, you know what you're doing. And if Pink Eye Poxy is still here too, we should shout her out because she is one of my absolute favorite streams to hang out on. Probably because we can both geek out on materials like crazy. You know, it's good to nerd out on that stuff sometimes. Yay. Go follow all those people. And give Autumn a follow too, if you aren't already. Autumn, shout yourself out. Yes! I love it. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. I got sidetracked. Go figure. Catch these buttons here. I mean, value-wise, they're actually not doing a whole lot except right on the rim. They're pretty much just catching the same value as the jacket, which we're not going to get detailed with because it is a detailed jacket. We ain't going to do that. Well, let's catch some nice juicy highlights on those buttons. No, it's okay, Autumn. There's nothing wrong with masturbating in front of the mirror every now and then. We've all done it, right? I mean, I've heard. Been putting some of these highlights off for far too long. But it's a good thing to do. You don't want to rush into them, right? Just want to kind of correct some little things here that I think will help some of this read a little better. But honestly, we're getting into the noodly part here, where it's sort of just now it's kind of a matter of when do I want to be done with it, right? But as Joseph Spuckfitch says, if you find yourself looking around for stuff to do on your painting, then you're done. Put it away. You know, something might jump out at you later, and that's fine. Especially with oils. It might jump out at you and later on down the road, and then you're like, oh shit, I should tweak this or whatever. And that's cool. But if you're looking around for what else to do, then you're done. Done with your painting. You know, it'd be a different story if I was really trying to render this out, right? But I'm not, as I said before, I'm not a renderer. For me, it's kind of once I have the necessary information down that is telling the story I want to tell, then I'm done. I'm done with it. Right? I'm just looking to get that necessary stuff in there. Once that's in, boom. Done. Story I want to tell and the way I want to tell it. Right? Like, there are spots in here where it's thin, and I don't mind that, you know. Yeah, it fucks with the values a little bit, but it doesn't bother me terribly. If I decide that it's a bit distracting, I'll change it because I don't want it to be distracting. But I don't mind terribly if we have a little bit of that kind of transparency. Kick the value down a little bit, but it probably was why mirrors were invented, to be honest. I bet you. Right? So the nobility could just preen in front of them. It's not like anyone else could afford a mirror. I always forget, though, how strong these transparent oxides are. I mean, they're not like, you know, dioxazine or like Venetian red, right? Like a Venetian red will just ruin your whole day. So it's not a day ruiner pigment, but they are strong. Sometimes they go a little further than I initially expect. They should just call it Day Ruiner Red and Day Ruiner Violet. And we'll all know what they mean. But I want it cooler. Cooler. You spitting the cooler. How? Right. Go. Ooh, they got nice, cool highlight there. Not a highlight, just a light mid-tone. But that's fun. I can dig it. Right, it just helps establish a slightly different plane than some of the others. So that's cool. Oh, Diox perp. That shit. liking that cool, so I want to get a little more of that, right? It's different when we're working in such a limited palette. Typically, you know, we would maybe really lean into what Harvey Dunn would say about kind of once you have a few strong colors and values that are working, then just repeat them for the rest of the painting. Right, so that's where I'm kind of like, I'm liking some of these cools, and I'm just sort of seeing where else we can sneak some of that stuff in to maybe help some of our forms turn and read a little different. Yeah, it's a beautiful color, but oh my god, it just doesn't quit, you know? But depending on how you paint, like, I have no reason to put that color on my palette at all. So I don't. I just don't. Alright, I want some hotness on here. I do too. Incredible hunk. I have to say, like, I've really been loving limited palettes lately, especially. Even digitally, I've been trying to work in a more limited capacity, like trying not to just go crazy with every single color at my disposal, you know, but thinking of it more as like, okay, if I were to skew everything warm or cool or whatever, and trying to paint that way, not just relying on post-production and Photoshop to get me there, you know, when I'm painting digitally. So, because I love the unification, you know, of the limited palette, the unity that you get in there, and then, like, I mean, if I were to now add a blue onto my palette, it would create such a broad range that it would feel much broader than it actually is, which is awesome, and you know, that's a good thing. It's a good place to be in. And I feel like it's way too light. I feel like it gives just a better understanding of color. One thing here is that we got a little light on some of these, so it's not quite sitting. Well, let's not slip. That would not be good. Some of these are a little light. So let's see what we can do about that. this is pretty good at this point. Not something bugging me a little bit in the nose. Not quite sure what it is, but it's something. All right, man. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. You have a good night. I'm probably going to call it pretty soon as well. Though I think we will raid somebody. How long have I been on? Where's my... Oh, because I'm not on my stream. Has it been 3 hours? Not bad for 3 hours. I'm okay with that. I feel like we accomplished stuff. I'm not done yet, but, you know, think about winding down soon. You know me, every time I'm like, okay, I think that's about it. And then I'm like, oh wait, and then this thing. Oh, I think that's about it. Oh wait, and this thing. So I'm gonna try not to do that right now. And call it when I feel like it's ready to be called. There's some of the forms in here are just a little soft for my taste, so I just want to see where I can maybe kind of bring some edges to them. And the nice thing with the limited palette also is that it's harder to go chalky, right, with colors, because you're not like mixing a whole bunch of stuff together. Kind of makes our job a little easier. Hey, Herbmaz. IRB Maz. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Next stream will hopefully be Monday. I'm going to try and get back to my 2 days a week streaming. I'm going to try. I'm trying to wrap up other projects so I can get back to it. But it'll either be Monday or Thursday. I'm not totally sure yet. Some. Oh, raid. Whoa, 2 raids, double raid. Liad and Art of Blake. That was crazy timing. Welcome, raiders. Welcome. Thank you for the raids. Liad and Art of Blake, how were your streams? I hope they went really well. And if you have anything you would like to share, we would love to see them. Raiders, welcome. If you have not been here before, Daniel Landerman, sketch artist, illustrator, and entertainment advertising by day, by night, whatever the hell I feel like. Tonight it's oils. Sometimes it's digital, sometimes it's pen and ink, sometimes watercolor. I get a little ADD on my art materials, but that's okay. You know. So tonight we are painting a portrait of Captain Flint from Black Sails, played by the indomitable Toby Stevens. Hey, Razatron, thank you for the follow. Rodney Creates, thank you for the follow. No, it's all good, man. Believe me, I know how that goes. I know how that goes. Thank you. Thank you, Art of Blake. Thank you for bringing your homies over here. I appreciate it. Everyone, go give Art of Blake a follow, please. Yeah, so the more I use this Alexander's titanium white, man, the more and more I love it. Let's all thank Pink Epoxy for that little gem. Thank you, Pink Epoxy. Liad, if you have anything you would like to show from your stream, please feel free. Ah, there we go. Sweet. This is a recent painting. Awesome. Oh, dude, that's tight. Yeah. Nah, I dig your stuff. I dig your stuff. And you're painting in... what are you painting in? Are you painting in oils? Sweet. 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 Love it. Love it. Dude, those hot colors are, well, hot. Fucking rad, man. Yeah, I'd recommend it. I was surprised. I didn't think I would love it as much as I do, you know? I always kind of, I mean, yeah, I paid attention to whether I liked one white over another. But this one, it just got a great silky texture that's kind of perfect. And then when you mix another color into it, it's a pleasure to work with, I have to say. Adjust that shape a little bit. else would probably notice, but I noticed it, so adjust it we shall. I mean, it's minor, but it's enough. Stuff off a little bit more. Who dat? Beard Arts, thank you for the follow. You just followed because I'm painting a beard, huh? Yeah, I know. It's all good though. Oh, also Phantom 019 TV, thank you for the follow. Did I think Razatron? Razatron, thank you for the follow. I missed those. It didn't alert me. Damn you alerts making me look like an asshole. I swear I'm not like picking and choosing who to thank. I'm not gonna go crazy, like I'm not one to sit there and paint in hairs, but when we are dealing with values that are so close in some cases between the hair and the skin, it helps to just at least separate it with texture, right? Cat trying to tell me it's almost time for bed. Really, she just wants her before bed snack. That's all. She doesn't give a shit if it's time for bed or not. She's just like, yo, this is usually when you give me that little snack thing, you know? Like, we're getting there. We are getting there. Just about. Just want to reinforce some of these shapes. Liad, it's all good, my friend. Thank you for bringing your people over. I appreciate it. And thank you. Yeah, I know, Jay-Z. I know. But if I was, I would just be distracted by myself, so... Isn't it funny how, like, the first thing we think about is... Like... We assume we would have our current brain, right? So in my case, like, a man brain, if I was suddenly a hot chick. Where in reality, if I was a hot girl, I wouldn't really care about my hot bits. Or maybe I would. Maybe I would. Hey, Adam Pollard Art, thank you. I appreciate that. We're kind of just finessing edges and stuff right now. I could call it done, but I still keep seeing things where I'm like, no, let's fine tune that. Let's finesse that a little bit. And so we're not calling it done. Technically, there's something still going on with his eyes, and I'm not quite sure what it is that I'm not happy with. I think it's that simply the shape of that mark was just not quite getting it done. That also is a hard part. If I don't get enough paint on the brush, it doesn't want to lay down properly. Damn it. There we go. It's a little better. Little shapes where I either have to just like ignore them or I have to get them just right, and it's annoying to... It's not annoying. That is part of the process. It's actually not annoying. It's just me being finicky as far as like hoping I can just throw something in there and it'll magically work when it might take a little more finesse than that. Because we all know this shit ain't magic. It is Toby Stevens, Jay-Z. It is him as Captain Flint from Black Sails. Hey, Khalil the Wise. Yes, you are... aren't you a mod on James's channel? Are you a mod? Right? Either way, yes, I do remember you. From James's channel. Oh, right on. Yeah, that was fun. I think we definitely have figured some stuff out that hopefully we can do a more official one soon. It was nice to just kind of hang out and sketch a bit. Thank you. Thank you. And what's funny is that right after we stopped the stream, I figured out why my art wasn't showing in higher resolution. It's like, of course I figure it out afterward. So annoying. But hey, now I know why. So next time, we'll have it in good old true HD. This is a little too light. Okay, I'm getting glares on this, so I'm not being able to see accurately where the damn eyeline is going. That's okay. We'll get it. I really should not be worrying about these little tiny details. Well, I don't know if there's a should and shouldn't in this case, really, right? We're just having fun. Which, if anyone has not seen Black Sails, by the way, you're missing out. The first season is mostly, it's just like really fun, right? And then after that, it just gets really good. Like the character development in that series was top notch. Top notch. And I was already like a big fan of like Treasure Island, right? And Black Sails is kind of posed as a prequel to Treasure Island, so it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Alright, little bit more, and then we are gonna have to call it, because I do gotta get shit done tomorrow. Deadlines. So, gotta make sure I'm up at a decent hour. Or an indecent hour, depending on how you look at it. No, I like waking up in the morning. I'm not a sleep-in type of person, usually. The only thing is, I really wish they would bring out the full score, right? They only brought out like some of the tracks that Bear McCreary did for Black Sails. I agree, Jay-Z. Missed opportunity, right? But yeah, I fucking love the soundtrack for Black Sails. It is so good. I mean, everything Bear McCreary does is pretty badass. So. Of course, it occurs to me that a friend of mine knows him. I wonder if there'd be a way to get my hands on some of those unreleased tracks. Can't hurt to ask, right? I mean, I know how it is. Not being able to release shit. Story of my life. But that's okay. That's what they pay us for, right? Alright, this is too dark. That's what's bugging me, I think. Because this is so dark, it's making this stuff not feel as dark as it should. As much as I loved those marks. You know, we need to give ourselves room to play with the values properly. Word. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the gift subs. I appreciate you. You sleep well, my friend. Cryo does love the nibs. And that makes me very, very happy. You know, when you see someone that's as good with pen and ink as she is, then it's like, okay, gotta step up the nib game, right? I mean, honestly, it took me a long time, and the only reason I started really exploring nibs was after I got that crazy modified pilot Falcon, right? The Elaba with that Spencerian nib. And once I used that nib, I was like, holy shit, like, it's going to be hard to go back to a normal nib from this one because it was so sensitive and like could get such beautiful line variation. So then I just was like on a quest to find a nib that could do that, right? Because sometimes it's nice to use India ink, which I'm not going to put in a fountain pen. So I was just like, I went nib crazy, and I can't tell you how many different nibs I bought and went through before I found that Gilat 303. Gilat. I've never heard anyone that knows how to pronounce it, so I don't know. I don't know. All right. It's tough. I'm trying to think. Hang on, gotta block it for a second, guys. All right. Yeah, so until I found that 303, that Gilat 303, the closest I could get was grinding down a G nib, right? So that's what I was doing for a bit. I would just use the Arkansas stone and grind down a G nib so that it would have a bit more flex and could give me those like super fine lines. And that was kind of the closest. Like, there were some other nibs that had great flex to them, but they didn't have the line variety that I wanted. So they didn't do me any good. They were useless to me. Alright, I feel like I'm kind of at a very noodly phase right now. There's still something. I just can't quite decide if I feel like his eyes are too light or too dark, or a little bit of both. Cause like there's some confusing stuff happening in here that I'm not a huge fan of. We don't like confusion. I mean, you know, unless that's our intention, but that's not my intention. So. Let's see here. No, it's one of those things where if you're gonna put the detail in, you gotta do it. You know, you can't half-ass it. And the hard part is there's this beautiful gradation that's happening that if I don't get that right, it just messes with the form in a way that pisses me off. It really chaps my hide. You know what part of it is, I think, is that this should be cooler in here. The warmth was kind of bringing it forward, which I don't really want to worry about that stuff too much in this, but you know, that's kind of the deal we get ourselves into, I guess, when we decide, hey, I'm gonna do a monochrome painting where I can control the temperature. Well, then you gotta just do it. Ness knows you're a nib convert from what? Or are you talking about a specific type of nib? Because yeah, I fucking love nibs. Ah, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. I will take a nib over pencils and ballpoint any day. I think there's just kind of almost an intrinsic character that the nib has, you know. I mean, of course, pencils obviously have their place, as does ballpoint pen. I do love sketching in ballpoint pen sometimes, so, you know, I don't want to, like, harp on it like ballpoint sucks. Because it's all just a matter of what you do with it, right? It is fun to sketch with it. Yeah, you know, if you have a good nib, man, you can do a lot with them. for sure. Alright. I'm kind of noodling this more than I need to, I think, but just want to need to check. There's still some stuff bugging me. Now, I don't have to fix it all tonight, obviously, but I would kind of like to just fix it and call it, you know? Like, I don't really want to... I did not start this with the intention of, like, coming back to it later on. It's just some values that are getting a little jumbled. Our value grouping is fucking with us. Don't let your value grouping fuck with you. Wrangle that shit in. I'm like trying to figure out where it's catching these fucking highlights from. I feel like I'm getting it from two different lights, but that's okay. That's okay. No deal. I mean, it's weird because that really is quite light, and so I'm like, I don't want to touch that. I mean, the white of the eye, it is actually pretty light in there. Now, I think it's a little silly at a certain point to keep messing with this. You should just say, you know what, that's it. And say, hey, not bad for 3.5 hours. Call it a day. Call it a night. Alright. Yeah, let's call it, guys. I dig it. I dig it. Looking good. I'm happy with it. I'll see if I can, if the light allows, see if we can get some... Ooh. Hang on. I'll focus this for you guys a bit more. So you all can see it up close a bit. And let's see if we can... It's a matter of where the light will catch it. But there's our painty details. Right? Good times, good times. Oh wait, let's push this guy over. Yeah, it's a tough one sometimes to kind of see it from far away. Especially like I'm working small, you know, it's a little 8x10. Here, let's do it this way. Just bring my easel up close. How about that? See if we can angle him away a little bit from the light. So it's a little skewed from your perspective, but that's okay. It's okay. There is that, what's bugging me a little bit though. See, every time I'm like, okay, we're done. And I'm like, what? That sharp edge on the upper lip is bothering me. We don't. That's a round form, right? It's turning away from us. So really we don't want that sharp of an edge. And nor do we want such a harsh value distinction between. So. I want to touch that mark, even though it's a little strong. I like it, and I'm a little hesitant to do, but it is a little bold. There we go. All right. We're calling it for real. Calling it for reals, you guys. Is there anyone we want to raid? Is there anybody? Hang on. My containers are being stubborn there. Close up the fumes. All right. There is that. Let's see who's on. Ooh, Cryo's on. Is anyone on Cryo's stream? Is she about to jet? Can we raid her? We're gonna raid Cryo. Hopefully she's not finishing up right now. All right, my friends, we are going to raid Cryomera because she's a badass. Thank you everyone for joining me. Hopefully I'll be back Monday. If not, I will be back Thursday. Super busy at work, so doing what I can. We'll be back for some more oil painting, most likely. And with that, we're gonna raid, guys. Peace.